Mangwanani Malelepo Vukenjani Klekwas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Berry and Glenora Shupura. Good morning, Glenn.
Kora wapinduka nawa?
Nawa.
Wow, we're doing very well in 2024.
I'm doing what I can.
Yes.
Hey, keep it at 2 syllables, 1 word. I got you.
Yes, I'm very proud of you. Next time we can add like 2 words.
Yes,
in there.
yes, bit by bit.
Now getting into what you can expect in today's broadcast. A record number of civilians hurt by explosives in 2023. Indian hospitals cutting cancer drug costs. And I am giving up my salary, Chad's new prime minister said. To stay tuned for this story and more on Africa Good Morning.
Now, last year saw the highest number of civilian casualties killed by explosives in more than a decade, and this is according to new research. The UK-based charity Action on Armed Violence recorded a 122% increase in civilian fatalities caused by explosives in 2023. The rise is largely due to the war being fought between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Conflicts in Ukraine, Sudan, Myanmar, and Somalia also contributed. Now, AOAV is a London-based charity which records the monitors evidence of armed violence against civilians worldwide. Its reporting and analysis is used by international forums such as the UN. It has also presented its evidence to the UK's Parliament. Now in 2023, AOAV identified at least 7,307 explosive incidents around the globe, up from 4,322 recorded the previous year. Now the attacks caused the deaths of at least 15,000 civilians, accounting for a rise of 122% from 2022.
In our next story, over the last few months, Kasha Cancer Center in the state of Assam has seen an unusually high number of patients from nearby towns and villages. The reason, a quiet revolution that is making cancer drugs more affordable. The hospital is part of the National Cancer Grid, a group of treatment centers that have clubbed together to bulk buy drugs and bring down costs by more than 85%. It is a modest start, but literally a lifesaver for some of the country's poorest people. Expensive, protracted treatments often put families under immense financial strain or are simply out of reach. For example, breast cancer treatments can extend for over 10 cycles and cost more than $6,000. In a country where the average monthly salary is less than $700, that is beyond many households' budgets. Most people in India have to pay for healthcare themselves. Even for those with insurance or on government schemes, cancer care costs are often not fully covered. A major issue is that most of India's cancer patients live in towns and rural areas while the bulk of healthcare resources are in larger cities. This means that patients and their families face the added burden of having to travel along long distances to access treatment.
Now, Chad's new interim prime minister says he is forfeiting his own pay in order to help others in the country, as a way of modestly contributing to what could have belonged to him. He says, I am giving up my salary as prime minister, which I will devote entirely to a social scholarship for the 23 provinces, Sukez Masra told State TV on Sunday. I feel I have a mission and a privilege to serve the Republic, he added. Soon after, a transitional legislator, Bedei Tolomi, also said he would give up 50% of his salary and donate the rest to orphanages. It is not clear how much top government officials in Chad earn, as information is closely guarded. Now, before his appointment earlier this month, Mr. Basra was a staunch opposition leader who challenged the administration of military leader Mahamat Debe.
Swinging over to Nigeria, Nigeria's president has suspended a minister over the alleged diversion of more than 585 million naira, equivalent to $640,000 of public money, into a personal bank account. Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation Minister Betta Edu was suspended on Monday following public outrage over the scandal. A statement from President Bola Tinubu's office said he had ordered an investigation into Dr. Edu's ministry. Dr. Edu has denied any wrongdoing. Her office said she had approved the transfer into her personal account, which was not in her name, but said it was for the implementation of grants to vulnerable groups. Dr. Edu, who's 37, is the youngest minister in President Tinubu's cabinet and is seen as a close ally of the president. The suspension of a minister is a rare occurrence in Nigeria. Dr. Edu is the first to lose their job since President Tinubu took office in May last year. His predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, sacked only 2 ministers during his 8-year tenure. Last week, local media reported on a leaked document that allegedly showed Dr. Edu instructing a senior treasury official to transfer the money to the personal account of Bridget Uniyelu, the accountant for the government's Grants for Vulnerable Groups initiative. Reports that Dr. Edu had asked for the funds to be moved to a personal account rather than a government one caused outrage.
Now, Pope addressed ambassadors accredited to Holy See on Monday, delivering a comprehensive overview of global challenges and the escalating violations of international humanitarian law. He mentioned a plethora of ongoing worldly tribulations, such as the Israel-Hamas conflict, migration issues, climate crises, the immoral production of nuclear and conventional weapons, but also the complex socio-economical and political issues plaguing the African continent. Turning our gaze to Africa, we are witnessing the suffering of millions of people as a result of the numerous humanitarian crises that various sub-Saharan countries experience due to international terrorism, complex social-political problems, and the devastating effects of climate change. Added to these are the effects of the military coup d'etat that have occurred in several countries and certain electoral processes marked by corruption, intimidation, and violence, said the pontiff. From Algeria to South Africa, a third of Africa is poised to participate in elections in 2024. With significant issues at stake in at least 18 countries entering the election year. Now, among these nations are Mali, Chad, and Burkina Faso, grappling with the aftermath of military coups. Those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning. More news after the break.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Now, the head of community policing in the Erongo region, Inspector Ileni Shapumba, says that in comparison to other years, this festive season saw a decline in crime rates. Let's take a look.
Well, we can inform the public to say, compared to other festive seasons period, this one was a little bit calm, of course with unique cases or cases with unique circumstances. There was a road accident where a person lost their life on the 24th of December on the road between Caribbean and Usakos. There was a murder case that was reported in Mondesa. There were 2 kids that drowned in Hendisby. We had a case of murder in Hendisby that could be compared to a passion killing on the family day that happened between a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Whatever happened, whatever caused that, we do not know. But it was reported that in the process, the boyfriend then attempted to kill himself, but did not succeed in doing that. Those are cases that happened during the Christmas weekend. And then it became very, very busy, especially on the New Year Eve and the New Year weekend. We had a case of culpable homicide where the young children were driving on the dunes. As a result, the vehicle rolled, and then unfortunately a precious life was lost in that accident. We had a case of murder that was reported in the town of Wauschbein, where over 50 or 53 years old man was killed. And in the process, it's also suspected that he was raped by the perpetrators. We are proud to say we have arrested the suspects in this regard. The phone was traced, and we are busy with investigations to that effect. We always indicate to say we exist for the purpose of preventing crime. But if it happens that a crime then takes place, then we have to redouble our efforts to make sure that we investigate thoroughly, we arrest those that are involved, and we present the evidence before court so that people can answer to the charges that are brought before them. That is crime combating. We have to thank loyal members of the public for their cooperation, support throughout the year, for commendable conduct during the festive season period, the first phase of the festive season. We are still in the festive season, by the way. And just urge that we should continue doing that, assisting one another. Police are the public, public are police. We exist for one another, and we should coexist, continue to coexist in mutual respect. If there are issues that we need to discuss, we should be approached so that we can advise one another on policing matters. But we are going to engage members of the public again so that we can continue collaborating and ensuring that to provide the satisfying services to the public.
You are still with Africa. Good morning. Let's head into the weather predictions just before economic news.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
All right, let's get into the economic news stories. South Africa's luxury goods tycoon Johan Rupert and his family have taken the crown as Africa's top billionaire after Nigeria's Aliko Dangote lost the prime spot. According to the latest Forbes billionaire ranking, Rupert and his family are currently the 201st wealthiest in the world, while Dangote is 219th. The valuation of the wealth of Dangote, who held the first place on the African billionaire ranking for more than 12 years, came under pressure after a major devaluation of the naira by roughly 40% last June, and the free fall that followed left his wealth much weaker in dollar terms. Dangote earns the bulk of his fortune in naira, which finished 2023 as the third worst performing currency in the world of the 151 currencies tracked by Bloomberg.
In our next story, the International Monetary Fund's Executive Board has completed the third review of Mozambique's 3-year loan program, allowing for an immediate disbursement to Maputo of about $60.7 million, the fund said. The review brings total disbursements under the $456 million extended credit facility program approved in 2022 to about $273 million, the IMF said late on Monday. Program performance has been satisfactory, it said in a statement, adding that inflationary pressures had declined sharply and the economic recovery is accelerating. The 3-year arrangement is expected to support economic recovery and policies to reduce public debt and financing vulnerabilities while creating space for public investments in human capital, climate adaptation, and infrastructure.
All right, those have been our economic news stories. We're going to swing over to the indicators just before Ari Hochad comes through with the sport.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with FA Cup soccer news around 3, and it was Manchester United that beat Wigan by 2-0, and it was a good win for Manchester United going on to the 4th round. They will still in the 4th round not play a Premier League team. They will play the winner of Eastleigh or Newport County, and in the game against Wigan it was Diogo Dalot that scored first in the 22nd minute, and then the winner of the second goal was Bruno Fernandes with a penalty in the 74th minute. The draw for the 4th round of the FA Cup was also made. Those games will be played on the weekend of the 27th of January, and the two big matchups of Premier League teams will happen. It will be Tottenham Hotspur that will host Manchester City, and defending champions, of course, is Manchester City. Then Chelsea also will play against Aston Villa. That will be at home for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Other games to look out for in the 4th round: Liverpool will play the winner of Norwich City or Bristol Rovers. And continuing international sports news with tennis news, it's Australian Open that will start this coming weekend on Sunday the 14th, and that will be played at Melbourne Park in Australia. That's the first major of the year. Some tournaments taking place at the moment leading up to the Australian Open. It is on the women's side, the WTA Tour. It is the Hobart International. Number 1 seed there is Elise Mertens of Belgium, and she beat Danielle Collins in the first round of the USA, 6-2 and 6-2 the score in that game. Also news leading up to the Australian Open is that Emma Raducanu, she's from Britain, from the United Kingdom. She won the US Open in 2021. She will not play an exhibition game this week. She withdrew from that, and she is still battling or coming back from injury. She had a wrist injury and also an ankle injury, but she is still in the draw for the Australian Open. And she also reunited with the previous coach for the Australian Open. His name is Nick Cavadan, and so Emma Raducanu now with a coach that used to coach her when she won the US Open in 2021. And closing off today's international sports news, it is news from the Dakar Rally that is taking place in Saudi Arabia, and it was stage 4 that took place in the motor cars over 438 kilometers. It was Lucas Moraes. He races with the Toyota Gazoo team, and he won the stage 4. But the overall leader after stage 4 is Yazid Al-Raji. He also races for Toyota. Canil de Villiers, not a good race for him. He finished 16th in the stage, and he's 14th overall. That is Canil de Villiers from Stellenbosch in South Africa. In the motorcycles, it was Kevin Benavides. He is from KTM that won the stage 4, but it is still Botswana's Ross Branch in racing for Hero, and he's still the overall leader in the motorcycle division. He's 3 minutes ahead of his nearest competitor. That was after stage 4. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we'll talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
All right, it's been another Africa Good Morning show of informing you on the latest stories happening on the African continent and beyond. Let's head into the highlights. Record number of civilians hurt by explosives in 2023. Indian hospitals cutting cancer drug costs. South African businessman overtakes Dangote as Africa's richest person.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Do remember that you can catch Africa Good Morning all weekday, same time, same place. From me, Glenn Rashipura.
And me, Ashwin Berry, Suraj Kadaka.